There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world feels louder than the whispers of your own heart. A moment when distractions pull you in every direction, when doubt invades your thoughts, and fear builds invisible chains around your potential. But in that very moment, you hold the greatest power given to any human being, the ability to master the battlefield of the mind. The mind is both the architect of your destiny and the prison of your limitations. Left unchecked, it will wander into the shadows, reminding you of every failure, every pain, every reason to give up. But when you learn to control it, when you take the reins with discipline and clarity, it becomes your strongest ally. It becomes the lens through which you see possibilities. Instead of obstacles, hope instead of despair, and purpose instead of emptiness. Every great achievement ever known began not with action, but with thought. Thoughts give birth to decisions. Decisions give birth to actions, and actions shape the future. If you allow negativity to guide your mind, your life will be bound by negativity. But if you feed your mind with strength, discipline, and vision, nothing in this world can keep you from rising. Understand this. Your mind does not belong to your doubts, your fears, or your insecurities. It belongs to you. Train it like a warrior sharpens his sword. Guard it like a king protects his crown. What you think repeatedly will become what you believe, and what you believe will ultimately become who you are. Do not allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent choices. Do not let fear of failure stop you from daring to try. The mind is like fire. It can either burn everything to ash, or it can light the path to greatness. Which one it becomes is up to how you control it. So stand today with conviction. Do not be a prisoner of thoughts that weaken you. Command your mind to serve you, not enslave you. Feed it discipline, feed it vision, feed it belief. Because the person who controls their mind controls their future. Focus is the single greatest tool the human mind can wield. Yet it is the very thing most people allow to slip through their fingers. Think about it. Every day, countless distractions compete for your attention. The phone in your hand buzzes with endless notifications. The world outside shouts with chaos, and your own thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind. Without focus, you are at the mercy of everything around you. But when you learn to master the power of focus, you unlock the ability to take control of your life in ways that most never will. Focus is not simply about paying attention. It is about channeling the entire force of your mind toward one clear vision, one defined purpose, one goal that matters more than the noise surrounding you. The reason so many people fail is not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they allow their minds to drift endlessly, touching everything yet holding nothing. They spread their energy across too many things, and as a result, their progress becomes thin, their potential wasted. Imagine trying to light a fire by scattering sparks in every direction. It will never ignite. But concentrate that spark, channel it with precision, and it becomes a flame powerful enough to change the course of everything around it. That is what focus does to your life. When you focus, you are not denying the existence of distractions. You are simply refusing to give them power over you. You are declaring that your vision matters more than temporary comfort, more than fleeting entertainment, more than the doubts whispering in your ear. Focus requires sacrifice, because every time you say yes to your goal, you must say no to 1,000 other things. But those sacrifices are what separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. The world belongs to those who can shut out the noise and pour their energy into what truly matters. Every great leader, every innovator, every individual who has left a mark on history was not more intelligent than others. They were more focused, They knew how to take the chaos of life and sharpen it into clarity. Focus transforms time. A single hour of undistracted effort is worth more than a week of scattered attempts. Focus transforms energy. When you channel all your strength into one direction, momentum builds, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Focus transforms identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can direct your own path, someone who does not waver in the winds of distraction, but moves with unwavering determination toward purpose. Think of focus as the steering wheel of your life. Without it, you drift aimlessly, carried by whatever current life throws at you. With it, you choose your direction. You control your journey. You decide your destination. But it requires intention. It requires you to decide every single day what deserves your attention and what does not. It requires you to be ruthless with your time, to protect your mental space as though it were the most precious treasure you own, because it is. Your mind is a powerful engine, but without focus, that engine spins in circles, burning fuel but going nowhere. With focus, every ounce of energy is directed forward, propelling you faster, stronger, further than you ever thought possible. To master focus is to master momentum, and to master momentum is to master the very course of your life. Discipline your thoughts daily. For without discipline, the mind becomes a playground for doubt, fear, and weakness. Every day, thoughts are born within you. Some rise with strength, others drag you into darkness. The undisciplined mind entertains whatever thought arrives, whether it empowers or destroys, but a disciplined mind knows which thoughts to welcome and which to dismiss, which to feed and which to starve. Discipline is not about silencing the mind. It is about training it to serve you instead of enslaving you. Imagine your thoughts as soldiers on a battlefield. Without discipline, they scatter in confusion, running in every direction, leaving you exposed and defenseless. But with discipline, they march with precision, united toward a single victory. That is the power of daily discipline over your mind. When you practice disciplining your thoughts, you begin to catch the small whispers before they grow into storms. You recognize when fear tries to take root, and you choose courage instead. You recognize when doubt whispers its poison, and you replace it with faith in your abilities. This is not something that happens by accident. It requires intention, awareness, and practice. Just as the body must be trained through exercise, the mind must be trained through daily vigilance. You do not build a strong mind by thinking strong thoughts once in a while. You build it by choosing again and again to reject weakness and embrace strength, no matter how many times the enemy of negativity knocks on your door. Discipline also means consistency. It means you do not let your emotions dictate the direction of your life. On days when you feel tired, on days when you feel unmotivated, on days when everything seems heavy, you still guide your thoughts with firmness. The undisciplined mind makes excuses. I don't feel like it today, maybe tomorrow. But the disciplined mind answers back, do it anyway. Stay the course. That is the voice that builds character, the voice that keeps you moving forward when everything else tells you to stop. The true strength of discipline is found in repetition. Each time you correct your mind, each time you push away a thought of weakness and replace it with one of strength, you are forging mental armor. At first it feels like a battle, but over time it becomes natural. You begin to instinctively reject negativity because you have disciplined yourself to see its danger. You begin to naturally lean toward thoughts of courage because your mind has been trained to seek them. Discipline turns effort into instinct, and instinct into identity. Without daily discipline, your mind will drift into chaos, pulled by every emotion, every distraction, every temptation. But with discipline, you become the master of your inner world. You can walk into any storm and remain unshaken, because your thoughts no longer betray you. You can face failure without crumbling, because your mind does not dwell on defeat. It learns, adapts, and grows stronger. You can walk through temptation without falling, because your disciplined mind recognizes fleeting pleasure for what it is, a trap designed to steal your future. Discipline your thoughts daily, because the quality of your life is nothing more than the quality of the thoughts you allow to live in your mind. If you do not discipline them, they will control you. But if you train them, they will elevate you to heights few will ever know. Replace negativity with empowering beliefs, for the thoughts you nurture in your mind shape the world you experience. Negativity is a subtle thief. It creeps in quietly, convincing you that you are not enough, that failure is inevitable, that your dreams are unreachable. It wraps itself around your mind like a thick fog, dimming the clarity of your vision and draining the energy from your spirit. But empowering beliefs act like sunlight breaking through that fog. They illuminate your path, energize your purpose, and create momentum that carries you forward, even when the road seems impossible. Choosing what to believe is the most profound decision you can make, because beliefs are the lens through which you interpret every event, every challenge, every opportunity. Your mind is constantly processing thousands of thoughts every day, but only some of them hold the power to shape your reality. When you allow negative beliefs to dominate, they filter everything you experience through a lens of fear, limitation, and self-doubt. A single thought, "I can't do this," can grow into a lifetime of unfulfilled potential if left unchecked. Conversely, a single empowering belief, "I am capable of overcoming this," can ignite a chain reaction of courage, determination, and action that transforms your life. Replacing negativity is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to see the possibilities rather than the obstacles. It's about deciding that your mind will no longer be a breeding ground for excuses, but a sanctuary for strength, resilience, and hope. Empowering beliefs are reinforced through repetition, reflection, and action. Each time you confront a negative thought and consciously replace it with one of power, you are rewiring your mind for success. You begin to notice opportunities where others see dead ends. You begin to trust your instincts and your abilities where before you doubted every step. You begin to expect success not arrogantly, but with a quiet confidence rooted in self-awareness and disciplined thought. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is forged moment by moment, choice by choice, thought by thought. It is also essential to surround yourself with influences that reinforce empowering beliefs. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environment you inhabit all impact the beliefs you hold. Negativity is contagious, and without conscious effort, it will seep into your mind from sources both obvious and hidden. But when you deliberately expose yourself to stories of courage, voices of wisdom, and examples of perseverance, you strengthen the foundation of empowering beliefs. You create a mental ecosystem where positivity, resilience, and possibility flourish. Replacing negativity with empowering beliefs changes more than how you think. It changes how you act. When you believe in your own strength, fear loses its grip. When you believe in your potential, hesitation dissolves. When you believe that challenges are opportunities rather than obstacles, you begin to take bold steps that others might shy away from. Every action you take is a reflection of the beliefs you hold. And every belief you reinforce becomes a stepping stone to the life you are capable of creating. By choosing empowering beliefs over negativity, you take responsibility for your mental landscape. You refuse to let past failures, external criticism, or fleeting doubts dictate the trajectory of your life. Instead, you cultivate a mindset that empowers, uplifts, and propels you toward your highest potential, shaping not only your future, but the very essence of who you are. Train your mind to see possibilities, not limitations, because the way you perceive the world determines the life you will create within it. Most people live trapped in a prison of their own making, where every circumstance is interpreted as a barrier and every challenge as a reason to give up. They see the walls before the windows, the obstacles before the opportunities, the impossible before the possible. But those who train their minds to see possibilities are not blind to difficulty. They simply refuse to be defined or constrained by it. They understand that the mind is like a lens, and the focus of that lens shapes reality. When you focus on limitations, you amplify them, making them larger and more intimidating than they truly are. When you focus on possibilities, you illuminate paths that others fail to see, uncovering solutions hidden in plain sight. Seeing possibilities requires deliberate effort. It is not a habit that develops overnight, because the mind is naturally drawn to comfort and familiarity. It is easier to dwell on what is broken than to imagine what could be built. It is easier to repeat old patterns than to take bold steps into uncertainty. But every great innovation, every remarkable achievement, and every story of triumph began with a choice to see what could be, not what was. To train your mind in this way, you must first recognize the automatic thoughts that limit you. You must notice the instant doubt, the whispered fear, the voice that says, "This is impossible." Only by acknowledging these mental patterns can you begin to shift them, to replace limitation with opportunity, to replace fear with curiosity and courage. Training your mind also means cultivating creativity and resourcefulness. Possibilities are rarely obvious. They often require seeing connections others overlook, imagining solutions that have never been attempted, and embracing risks that feel uncomfortable. It requires the ability to ask, "What if?" instead of "Why me?" It requires refusing to accept the status quo, challenging assumptions, and daring to think beyond what others claim is possible. Every time you exercise this mental muscle, you strengthen it, expanding the range of outcomes you can envision and the confidence you have to pursue them. This mindset also transforms failure into feedback. When your mind is trained to see possibilities, setbacks are no longer dead ends. They're lessons, adjustments, and stepping stones. You begin to approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear, problem solving instead of panicking. You see opportunities, you raise obstacles and solutions within complexity. The world does not appear smaller. It appears richer, filled with paths, doors, and opportunities waiting for your insight and effort. Finally, training your mind to see possibilities requires persistence and patience. The first attempts may feel awkward, the first failures discouraging, the first shifts in perspective uncomfortable. But every moment spent deliberately expanding your vision strengthens your ability to perceive beyond limitation. Over time, your mind becomes a powerful tool capable of identifying opportunities in the face of adversity, discovering potential where others see only risk, and transforming the impossible into achievable reality. When you train your mind to see possibilities, you are not merely changing your thoughts. You are changing the trajectory of your life. You are stepping into a world where challenges become adventures, obstacles become lessons, and every day holds the potential for growth, achievement, and transformation. Your mind, once a place of restriction, becomes a gateway to a life without limits, guided by vision, courage, and unwavering belief in what can be accomplished.